This is Sports 2000, a formula that has established itself as a competitive one on both sides of the Atlantic in a few short years. The cars, comparatively simple and therefore not too expensive to run. The competition, however, very hot indeed. The start at Donington, with Mike O'Brien going into the lead. At Redgate Corner, Sean Walker with the FAI Engine Components Royale takes over from the Aquila. Meanwhile, with the cars on the far side of the circuit, O'Brien once again has taken himself into the lead of a three-car battle. Through Coppice and down the straight under the bridge, it's still O'Brien, with Walker and James Thompson nose and tail. Into Park Hairpin, once again the Aquila holds sway, but the others are close behind. And as they accelerate along the straight, another challenge once again to the white car of O'Brien. Walker now has established himself in the lead. Time to look at the progress of this 25-year-old driver who moved up from the Dunlop Star of Tomorrow series, a short break when he was out of the country working, and back again through Formula Talbot into this sports car scene, which has provided a lot of competitive racing and a great deal of interest to spectators and sponsors alike. 956 Porsche driver David Sullivan progressed to international sports car racing through Sports 2000. What did the formula mean to him?
The really great bunch of people. It's good fun to be with them, and I enjoy being here.
And having got involved in the course, you've gone on to bigger and better things, Porsche 956s. Has this stood you in good stead? Has that racing, that close competition helped, and the friendliness in it, have you been able to take that into World Endurance Championship?
Well, most of the people that drive Porsche all speak German, so we have a language barrier to start off with, and trying to get to tell them what's wrong with the car becomes very awkward. So considering all the problems we've had this year in Porsche racing, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and we've not gone too bad for the first season.
By now, our race at Donington is seeing a tremendous fight developing for the lead, with still Sean Walker heading Richard Morgan, and right behind him the yellow car of the ex-hill climb champion James Thompson. After 2 years in single-seaters, when he was not at all happy, Thompson is able to show his skill in Sports 2000. That's true also of Morgan, an ex-Clubman's champion, and Walker in the lead. Down towards Redgate, the Morgan March sprouts some wide wheels, but Thompson finds a way through on the inside. The pre-1980 class is a category on its own. Here number 20, Martin Chambers with the Lola. The leaders, however, with the more modern machinery, dominate the scene on both the international and the home front. Thompson now up into second place and hounding Walker. Cones fly as Will Hoy, number 27, gets between a couple of cars in his effort to make up time. While the brakes of 17, Steve Richard Chevron, lock up at Park. He loses a place to number 5. Throughout 1984, battle raged between Thompson number 1 and Sean Walker number 2, and Thompson here tries to close the gap on Walker. Out of McLean's, on the short straight that separates it from Coppice, it's still the red and white car of Walker holding off Thompson, who's closing all the time and trying to find an inside line through. He's going to have to wait, however. Sean is very determined. Dave Carrascus in number 45 has got nobody to dice with, so he dices with himself and goes off on the entrance to Coppice. Back on the track again, the Lola continues with the race. The battle between the leaders, seen here once more at Coppice, as they pass the BMW hospitality unit, is still as hot as ever it was. Nobody wants to give ground. Walker, with a bare 2 cars length, leads down once again towards the Honda stand and Park Hairpin. Out comes the FAI car with Thompson tucked in behind him, looking for a way through now, all the way down the pit straight. And he's made it next time round. Walker's not satisfied to be shut out for long and tries to keep that gap at a reasonable distance to come back and attack once again on the Yorkshireman. It's not to be, however, and it's Thompson now very much in charge of the situation. 24 years old Otley driver heading the Londoner as they go past the pits once more. Meanwhile, Will Hoy is getting the better of his battle with Richard Speake and Evan Clements, and is now in a secure third place. I asked Evan why he had gone into Sports 2000.
I enjoy Sports 2000 because there's a good social side, and I find the racing a bit cleaner than single seater.
Ray Stover spins at Park, is narrowly missed by the two succeeding cars, but it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good, because upper place as a result of that comes Tony Westwood. The battle for the lead rages on. It's still Thompson, and now he has quite a respectable lead over Sean Walker. As Walker accelerates up the straight, into Park comes Westwood on the ragged edge, almost loses it, and loses his place certainly to Stover once more. Meanwhile, out at Coppice, James Thompson on sure swift progress towards the checkered flag on his last lap. Walker, way back now in second place, leaves the 24-year-old Yorkshireman to come into Park hairpin and pass the checkered flag to take the win at Donington. With Walker second, in third place, it's number 27, Will Hoy. Another exciting round of the British Sports 2000 Championship scene comes to a close. Round they come to the presentation. A chance for both drivers to talk about their experiences to the experienced commentator at Donington, Keith Douglas. Silverstone, and the warming-up lap of the British Sports 2000 Championship race. At the end of the 1984 season, two drivers in contention, James Thompson and Sean Walker. And it's Walker that leads off Thompson as they go out towards Copse Corner. Down the Hanger Straight for the first time, however, Thompson is in the lead, Walker in second place, and look out for Mike O'Brien from Luton with the Speed Sport Promotions Acquia. Into Stowe Corner, and Thompson there with a precarious lead. O'Brien there tucked up behind, and the rest of the field streamed through. A 10-lap race. 89 there is Tony Hilton with the Royale RP37. The Woodcote Chicane and Sean Walker in the lead now, but a lead that's somewhat precarious since he has a penalty of some 30 seconds for a jump start. O'Brien in third place, and the meat in the sandwich Thompson. Morgan's March is well up too, and some fine battles going on further down the field with Martin Chambers at the present time holding off a hard-charging Anthony Llewellyn-Davis. Down towards Stowe once more, that gap between the leading cars is certainly not opening up by much. O'Brien there trying to force his way past Thompson, and look at the fight that's going on behind. Into and out of Stowe, Sean Walker, Thompson, O'Brien and the rest of the field. At the back of the group, Bill Coombs, number 19. On the Hanger Straight on the next lap, the battle between Thompson and O'Brien well and truly joined, with O'Brien looking for the inside to get past the Otley man. Walker still maintaining that distance between him and the opposition. All three of these drivers have well-established reputations. But what about a newcomer to motorsport? Someone, for example, such as Paul Stott, seen here in number 5. What has Sports 2000 in store for him?
I think everybody's very friendly, and it's a nice team to be with Richard Dutton. And just he happened to be doing Sports 2000 in a big way, and he said it's about time, you know, that you drove a car with slick tyres on, and that you can actually drive a proper racing car and see how you get on in it. And we just went to do it, and it seems to be coming better. Well, it's better than Formula Ford at the moment. Basically, I'd like to drive a Formula 3 car, and I think this is just one way to go to be able to learn to drive a proper racing car before you go out and do it.
And so Sean Walker goes on to win the race at Silverstone, at least on the road. His penalty meaning that it's awarded to Thompson in the end. Thompson, indeed, became the 1984 Sports 2000 champion, closely run most of the time by Sean Walker and Mike O'Brien. Undoubtedly, these three drivers have their plans for 1985, as do those other drivers that we spoke to and those that we did not. They'll all remember their time if they're moving on in Sports 2000 with fun and some tremendous battles on the track. The Sports 2000 series is often part of the supporting programme for major international races in the United Kingdom. It's popular with spectators and presents an unrivaled opportunity for sponsorship at a sensible price. May we wish all competitors in 1985 the best of good fortune.